Hi guys, and welcome to your weekly horoscope. This one is for Monday the 10th of April going through until Sunday the 16th of April 2023. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. As always, I'm going to go through each day this week to see what the planets are doing, how they interact, and what energy that creates. The point of these horoscopes is to try and understand the kind of planetary relationships, to see where the kind of treasure troves are, where there are opportunities. Now you can kind of jump on those, and where there are potential issues that are best avoided. So the good news about this week is it looks really positive in many ways. So first of all, it feels simple and straightforward and grounded. You can get a lot done and be very productive. But then also there's the opposite happening. So even though you're very grounded and able to get things done, I feel that particularly on certain days, it's like these new ideas are being dropped in. So it's like the universe wants something to break through, something new, something that's obviously not been discovered yet. So either someone this week is going to be massively inspired to create some sort of a masterpiece, or an inventor has an amazing, brilliant light bulb go off. That's the vibe I'm getting, and that's the kind of duality of the week, that you can really get a lot done in terms of what needs to be done in a practical sense and keep very busy with that. But then underneath that, or running side by side, is the potential to have these moments of brilliance where you understand everything. Which then, if you think about it, if you're working at something, if you have an idea that then kind of casts that work in a different light and makes it seem unimportant or outdated or whatever because you've replaced it with something better, then of course that's going to even change the nature of your work. So I think it's important to, this week, to kind of pay attention to things that occur to you and to take them very seriously. Because, I mean, when you're busy and you're doing things, you get some sort of idea that seems brilliant, but then it's very easy to dismiss it as, oh, that's outlandish, or when will I have time? And then to just kind of bury it and it goes away. So this is not the week to do that, because it's going to be like brilliant. Okay, so first of all, Monday the 10th of April, we've got the moon in Sagittarius, which the moon is the way you feel, and Sagittarius is the centaur, very powerful, very focused on the journey and getting to the end goal and learning and discovering. So the Sagittarius moon gives you a great sense of optimism and enthusiasm going into this new week. It trines Chiron, the wounded healer, the sun, your identity, what you're really what you would like to embody as such, and Jupiter, the planet of good fortune and good luck. They're all in Aries. So we've got the moon in a fire sign, and we've got these three other heavenly bodies in the sign of Aries, which is fire. So fire is about life purpose and passion and really setting goals and having the energy and the strength and the resilience to go after them. So you really go into the week with that sense of, yes, I'm motivated to do something. It then quincunxes Mercury in Taurus. Mercury is the communication planet, and in Taurus it's very literal. It likes to read symbols, and it likes to communicate in a way which is tangible. So even through images. And it also quincunxes Uranus in Taurus. And I feel that makes you very capable when it comes to dealing with practical concerns of the world. So your job and your home and the bills that have to be paid and the transportation things that have to be organized. I think you have real insight into all of those things and can manage them very well. So if you have to get anything organized that's maybe on a larger scale than usual, Monday is a really good day to do it, because it won't feel like a chore. It'll feel interesting, and you have that organizational know-how to really make it work. Okay, and then something really important happens, which is Venus, the planet of love and beauty and creativity. It enters Gemini, the sign of the communicator, ruled by Mercury, the person who's expressive, the person who's able to look at information, assess it, find a better way, find a way around, find solutions, and who can express things that alter the perception of the people hearing what is said. I think at school or something, they taught me that art is supposed to change your perspective on life or the world. And that's, to me, what Venus in Gemini is. It's very articulate and creative. And I actually looked this up. I was like, I bet William Shakespeare had Venus in Gemini. And I did look it up, and he has it, Venus in Gemini. So Venus is beauty and creativity and new things. Like if you start a new business, I always look for Venus going retrograde, because those times are best to avoid starting something new or starting a new relationship, or the creativity is somewhat stifled or slanted. Venus direct at the moment in Gemini is really the opposite of that. It's when Venus is at her most expressive, most optimistic, and most humorous as well. Because when I looked up the name for William Shakespeare, a lot of other names came up. We've got people who are either physically very beautiful, or they're very, very charming, or they're very funny. So it's people like Kate Upton, Henry Cavill, Superman, Vivica Fox, Channing Tatum, Lena Dunham, Amy Schumer, Emma Thompson, Maya Rudolph, and Joan Rivers. So I just wanted to list those names because it may give you a feel for this, and it stays in Gemini until the 7th of May. So really, for the next month, we've got a period where it's going to be very easy for you to kind of put your best foot forward, to have a laugh if you enjoy doing that, or to even write and act if you're like trying to be a comedian. If you are a writer of anything, to really say, okay, the next 4 weeks I'm going to try and get a lot of work done, because it will be good work that you produce during this time. And then also, if you kind of rely on your personality or charm, or you're some sort of a performer or an actor, or you go to auditions, this is the kind of time of the year to do this, when Venus is in Gemini. Yep. Okay, so on Monday, overall, you'll have high energy going into the week with all the fire, and a sense of enthusiasm and a desire to go on an adventure. You're adaptable and able to get a lot done, and that's a theme that just continues over and over and over this week, that whatever you're focused on, you can really make huge inroads into whatever it is that you're focused on. So it can be one of those super productive days here on Monday where you feel really proud of yourself for what you achieved. And then with Venus in Gemini, it's all the things that I just mentioned. It's heightened creativity, romance, because it is the planet of love and beauty and romance and connection, charm, and anything in that realm of life, you know, the poetic, the kind of lyrical and fanciful. So very much in line with the theme of spring. And a happy Easter, by the way. Today I'm filming this on Easter, and the theme of that is rebirth. So it's very much aligned with that. Like, what am I going to express? What am I going to contribute? What am I going to build in my life? Tuesday, the 11th of April, we've got the Sagittarius moon forming a square with Neptune in Pisces. So that's really interesting, because the first thing I felt when I looked at that connection is troubled sleep or unusual dreams. And I think that this is really the first of the days where these new ideas are being dropped in, and they first reach you here on Tuesday via your dreams. You may go on an adventure or see something in your dreams that may require kind of some thought when you're awake and no longer in the dream, to see what it could mean, because I think you'll start to get clues here on Tuesday. Venus in Gemini then trines Pluto in Aquarius, which is an amazing connection, because a trine is the two kind of harmoniously working together. Pluto is transformation and change and death and rebirth and the phoenix rising from the ashes. In Aquarius, it's about ideas and really thinking outside of the realm of any kind of norm into completely the new. And then Venus in Gemini is all those things I just mentioned earlier. So the combination is really explosive when it comes to these kind of breakthroughs of brilliance in whatever field, you know. So science and the arts, and I mean, what is there? What else? By science, I mean things like physics and biology, or research, or discoveries. Okay, let's see. Then we have the moon going into Capricorn at 7:33 in the evening. The moon in Capricorn is very straightforward. It doesn't like a lot of complication. It likes to say, what's the job? How can I do it? It's very reliable, very earnest. So with all these ideas and then the hardworking willingness of Capricorn to do the actual work, if you've had writer's block, you will have writer's block no more on Tuesday. The Capricorn moon then sextiles Saturn in Pisces, and it quincunxes Venus in Gemini. So the willingness to actually take the things that exist up here and that are important to you and that inspire you and motivate you, and to give them some sort of tangible form and to work with them. And then Saturn in Pisces is really kind of spiritual support, helping you feel your way through this. And if things don't make sense straight away, it kind of gives you the resilience to keep going, even if you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Wow. Okay. So, yeah, like I mentioned, the Moon-Neptune connection, that may cause strange dreams, and they're trying to alert you to important new ideas that want to come in. So you're very switched on, both creatively, also analytically, and anything that involves communication, basically. Discussions, group meetings, contracts, all of those things you'll excel in. And anyone who does work as an artist, writer, or composer, please use Tuesday, the 11th of April, to the fullest, because you'll be able to create marvelous things. Yeah. It's interesting, because like if you're creative, I've had, heard artists and things talk and say, talk about creativity and that it's kind of elusive in its nature, right? You can't predict when the inspiration hits and when it's just not there. But I feel like looking at the astrology, that is what it's pointing me at exactly, this topic, that if you're waiting for creativity and inspiration to hit, this is the week it'll hit. On Wednesday, the 12th, we've got the Capricorn moon opposing Mars in Cancer. So I'm working, I'm productive, I'm busy. I may not be so at ease with taking care of other people and their needs right now. The Capricorn moon then squares Chiron in Aries, and it also trines Mercury and Uranus in Taurus. So that makes you very adaptable, very willing to do the work, very willing to kind of deal with problems as they arise without any kind of complaint. It's just like, this is what needs doing, I will do it. And with Chiron in Aries in the middle here, it's really about, what is it that I want to work on for myself today? What do I invest? What do I want to invest? So I think, all these ideas coming in, and then your willingness to do all the hard work and to be productive, I think it's the universe kind of conspiring to say, hey, do you know what? You're doing such a good job. Here's some other options. Consider them. They may bring you an upgrade in your life. So with this combo, I think there may be some imbalance in your work life. No, between your work and home life balance, there will be imbalance. What I mean is, one of the two is going to become more demanding, right? So either work needs more of you, there's some problem you have to deal with, or family needs more attention and they need you more. So something will become imbalanced. But the good news, again, is that you still have this amazing eye for detail and this creativity. So anything that arises, you'll be able to problem solve very quickly in either area. So that's the great thing about this week, that there's nothing is too much of a problem. No issue is a real issue. We'll just take care of it immediately. I'm laughing because just one area of my life where I learned to implement that is in the kitchen. If I drop something, I never ever react. Like if I have a cup of coffee and I spill the whole thing on the floor, I don't react. I immediately go to the paper cloths and I clean the thing up before I can even have a reaction. So the whole thing is solved before I even get upset about it. God. Okay. Let's see. And that was a very, very mundane problem. But if there are serious problems either in your working life or in your family life, like something more significant than that example, then look at it again today, you'll really get an idea of how this can be resolved. On Thursday, the 13th of April, we've got the Capricorn moon forming a square with the Sun and Jupiter in Aries, and it sextiles Neptune in Pisces. So work mode is still there. My personal interest is important. The things I'm working on are really a top priority. And also with Neptune then, I'm kind of pursuing the dream here of what I want to create in my life. So you're really onto something with all these new ideas. The moon then goes into Aquarius at 10:42 in the evening. Aquarius is an air sign. This is about the humanitarian and the teacher. So that's even more ideas, similar to Pluto being in Aquarius. The Aquarius moon itself then does conjunct Pluto in Aquarius, and it trines Venus in Gemini. So it doesn't get much more. There's those three, the Aquarius moon, Pluto in Aquarius, and Venus in Gemini. To me, that's a fountain of creativity. It's an outpouring of information, ideas. It's just a dam wall that comes down, and all these ideas and all this energy comes not just trickling in, it comes flooding in on Thursday. So with the moon being in Capricorn, you're really in work mode, and similarly to Monday, you can get loads done. But you see, at the same time, you've got this amazing kind of tidal wave of ideas arriving, and the ideas is amazing for inspiration or scientific or creative or whatever it may be. But if you are totally distracted by the work that you're doing, you may not hear those ideas. So it may not be. Yeah. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say be productive and all of that, but don't just focus on the one thing, and give yourself on Thursday, I think, at least like 10 or 30 minutes to just take a walk somewhere and put the phone away and just look around and think. And I feel an amazing idea will pop in, but it's the feeling I get is that it happens when you're on your own. I put a note on here, like there was this story about an author who was sitting on a train, and the whole character for her books walked into her head. And that story, one, I didn't quite buy it. And two, because it makes it seem so easy, right? It's almost like saying, if you're a great writer or an artist, then the ideas have to come in via some otherworldly place, and you have to be specially selected with this wonderful story. It doesn't say anything about, do you know what, I wanted to be a writer, so I used my imagination and I created a story that I thought was really brilliant and interesting, and then I wrote it. I would have preferred that much more, because that gives other people hope that they can do something. But I mentioned that because I get the sense on Thursday that that's the kind of thing that can happen, even if I'm skeptical about those things. So if you do have like this flash of brilliance, or you get this sense of, hey, this idea just walked into my head and it's now sitting there and it wants me to do something with it, that's a real thing on Thursday. And it's very important to pay attention to that, basically. Friday, the 14th of April, we've got the Aquarius moon forming a square with Mercury and Uranus in Taurus. So again, the ability to problem solve and to problem solve practical problems specifically. Sextiles Chiron in Aries and quincunxes Mars in Cancer. You know, the one thing that I'm getting here is that Venus in Gemini is good for all this creative stuff, but it's also very good for new relationships and connection with people. But at the same time, I don't really feel like that's your main interest for most of the week. I think your interest is your work and your ideas and kind of creating something for yourself. So if the question is, what I'm trying to say is this a good week for love and relationships? Absolutely, it is. So I'm getting that new ideas are being thrown in. I suppose that could also extend to the right people being dropped into your life. Okay. Venus in Gemini squares Saturn in Pisces. So again, to me, that's the creative floodgates and the spiritual floodgates being really opened. Overall, on Friday, I think learning and teaching and ultimately working with information is going to be your top priority. So whether it's being fascinated by a new subject, or getting your point across, or writing the next chapter of your novel, think, again, it's a very, very productive day. But again, then also balance that out because it's productive on the level that new ideas are coming in and can come in. I'm trying to say something that I don't feel like I've been able to spit out. It's like things always come in twos, usually, I think. Well, and in threes. But in this case, twos. Because if there's a great opportunity and a chance, right, there's always a little hurdle that could potentially blow the whole thing up. And if there's some sort of terrible disaster, there's always some little silver lining of good in it. And it's this annoying connection between the two polar opposites. And the polar opposites here are I'm so focused on work and productive that I'm missing the great ideas. But what I doubt is that you'll be like, oh, I'm so inspired all the time that I'm forgetting about my work. I think that's less of a risk. Saturday the 15th, we've got the Aquarius moon forming a sextile with Jupiter and the sun in Aries. So this is an amazing day for just feeling like I want to experience something new. I want to learn new things. I want to please myself. I want to suit myself in a way. I want to overcome obstacles. I want to experience some good luck and something positive that life and the world has to offer me. Let the world surprise me with something good. It's a really confident, optimistic, I know good things are going to happen kind of vibe. So Saturday with those things in connecting with each other, I think there's more opportunity for learning and discovery. So either traveling in a physical sense and exploring new places, or traveling intellectually or spiritually through study or meditation or the creative process. So like the day before, I think it's a good idea to spend a little bit of time by yourself, especially if you're trying to figure out a big life decision on what comes next. Or if circumstances have conspired so that you have to make a decision, this is really a great week to figure it all out and to get to a place of certainty and say, okay, well, this is now going to be the plan. So again, very proactive, can do. There's no like wishy-washiness here. It's great. Sunday, the 16th of April, we've got the Pisces moon conjuncting Saturn in Pisces. Okay, so now, oh, and I didn't write down at what time it changes from. Okay, so from Saturday to Sunday, the moon goes from Aquarius to Pisces. By the time Sunday arrives, the moon is in Pisces. And when it conjuncts Saturn in Pisces, it's a very different vibe. It's much more about, oh, let's decompress. Let's kind of listen quietly. Let's reflect, relax, decompress. It squares Venus and Gemini, so the creativity is there, linked with your spiritual connection now. So your intuition will be working, your creativity, your imagination. It trines Mars in Cancer, sextiles Mercury and Uranus in Taurus. And I think that makes it easier now for relationships in terms of people you know and spending time with them and enjoying their company. But overall, I think Sunday is going to be a really relaxed day. Even feels kind of soothing. The creative vibes are still flowing. But overall, there's a greater sense of comfort and the ability to kind of switch the brain off a little bit because it's been doing a lot of work this week. So you're able to kind of go, click, I need to just lie back and, relax a little. So it looks like a really, really interesting week. It looks like if there's anything that you need to clear off your plate, you're able to do that. And if you need to be inspired, if you need to come up with the next amazing idea, you'll be able to do it. Okay, so I hope that gives you an idea of what you'll be working with. If you'd like a personal reading with me where I look at your birth chart, then please get in touch with me via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, scroll down a little bit and then click on the button that says book your reading to audio reading with me. In my personal readings, I take your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth to draw up your birth chart. And then I analyze that. It shows me your life purpose, what's kind of destined in career and family and strengths and weaknesses, and where you have agency and what you can change and work on. It shows a great deal. So if you're contemplating big decisions, or you're going through a transition period, or you want to get like a personality profile, understand yourself better and see what would work for you, please do get in touch for a personal reading if you're interested in that. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, please hit subscribe and share the video online. And I'm meeting with Robin later on this afternoon. We're going to look at the merch shop again. So that shouldn't take much longer. So I don't know exactly when we're going to launch it, but it shouldn't be much longer now. So I'll let you guys know when that's up and running. And that's it. So I hope you have a great week. Check out some of my other videos. I do a daily tarot reading. Have a look at that if you're interested. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will speak to you soon. All the best. Take care.